representative global music opportunity, right? Because what the Grammys signify, there's other awards, right? There's awards in Europe, there's different global platforms, and I think that the real discussion is not about the Grammys specifically, but is about what level of access do Zambian musicians have to global music industry opportunities. I think that's the real question. So that comes in very many forms. How many Zambian songs are in movies in Hollywood? How many Zambian songs or how many Zambian artists have billboards in major global music cities, for example, right? We always see Wizkid on a billboard in whatever country for Spotify, or whoever on a billboard, right? So for me, it's not the Grammys only. That's not the entirety of the conversation. For me, the question or the conversation is how much access do Zambian artists have to global music industry opportunities? That's the real question. And if you say where are we going wrong, my response to that is I think the problem that we have is nobody wants to take responsibility for building the system that would take Zambian talent to these places consistently. The problem with Zambia and Zambians is we're very comfortable with one or two success cases, right? I think this is true of many industries in Zambia, where we'll have a very fragmented environment where there's a few players and maybe a few successful players, but what we rarely have is an entire thriving industry. So even if you talk about, say, manufacturing, for example, and you pick one specific product, let's say toilet paper, you will count on one hand probably the successful Zambian manufacturers of toilet paper. And the question would be, why don't we have an entire sector, right? Why isn't every single piece of toilet paper or a roll of toilet paper on whatever shop's shelves produced in Zambia? Because for whatever reason, we haven't decided to build, say, the factories, the cooperatives, the whole value chain to make that an industry standard. And I think the same thing is true for music. So we get one or two success cases, but nobody thinks, okay, how do we make this success case the norm? The only time that success becomes the norm is when you invest in systems so that, like a school, right? There's always, like, if you go to any town, there can be one kid who's so smart that no matter where you put him, he's going to do well. But it's better if you invest in a school that takes all of the children and puts them through grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, grade 4 until they graduate. So now it's not just about the one kid who was going to succeed anyway. It's about all of the kids in that village going through a system that allows them to access opportunity. So that's the way we need to think about all of these things. What is the school? What, like as an analogy, how do we create the school? Let's almost even forget about the one kid who studied from home and went and got 6 points. He just showed up to the exams. He studied from home, but he got 6 points. Yes, that kid is there. But how do we build a school that takes all of the kids to that point of opportunity?
I again saw something about, you said something on your social media saying you almost gave up on music. Kaladosha's convinced you back again, and you found yourself to be doing what you're doing right now. Why did you feel like giving up?
So I was coming, you know my story, obviously not.
Yeah, we spoke about it.
Yeah, not everybody else knows.
Yeah.
The brief introduction is I lived outside of Zambia for a long time. So when I came back the most recent time, it was actually in 2014, so now time has passed. But at that point, I was focused just on my professional career. I said, the type of music I do, maybe there's not really a market for it, so I'm just going to be wasting my time and resources pursuing a pipe dream, you know what I mean? So that was why I was not so interested in the beginning. But then through, different chance encounters, I ended up meeting Kaladosha's. And he just, he told me, he's like, look, man, I understand your sentiments, but I've invested, I've started the journey, and I've seen what you've done, even when you're out there in the US. He's like, don't give up. Zambia is going places, and it needs all of us kind of pushing in the same direction to help grow the industry. There's space for everyone. There's space for, hip hop in English, space for dancehall, space for everything. But we need to be the ones to push it, you know what I mean? So I was like, you know what, let me give it a shot. And he took me to meet Shamsi and Shinko Beats. And I started working with them. And my first 2 singles, which I ended up dropping, were produced out of that studio, 0 dB at the time. And the rest is history.